And before we wrap up, can we have a quick summary of that two issues?
Yes,
Just for
please. That would
people
be
who
nice.
didn't have time to watch the whole thing.
I still think it would be useful for people to watch the whole thing if they really need to upgrade and they want to plan to upgrade in near future. I would recommend definitely recommend to watch all the videos of this series because that's all super useful. And we really wish we had these videos for ourselves then we went through the upgrade, but now this is Abby's gift to everyone and you
Thank you
have to be
so much.
grateful. Okay, where's my summary slide?
It's coming. Okay.
Okay.
Before we wrap up, this is basically the summary of the two issues, two samples that we went through. If you have ADX table reference in FetchXML, you want to make sure the table reference is against this table called Power Page Component, especially if you have any relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
and if you need to, if you have any backend logic automations against ADX tables, either as a trigger or you work with the relationship, you want to make sure you swap them not to the corresponding MSPP tables, but to the side component
Mm-hmm.
behind it.
Yep.
Yes. Let me share the screen. I'll share the whole window this time.
Yeah, okay.
You see it?
Yeah, this is a Microsoft article. Interesting. Remember us reading this.
Now, after discussing the differences on the virtual tables, for the virtual tables between standard model and enhanced model, let's go to the customization fix section.
Mm-hmm.
And here are the 5 types of site customization on ADX metadata tables that Microsoft
Mm-hmm.
provide guidance on fix 4. We want to run through two
Mm-hmm.
examples today. We won't do all of them, but let's just have a quick high-level view on what these things are first. Um, First one is the custom columns. So if your ADX tables, you have created some custom columns on
Mm-hmm.
it. Since on the enhanced data model, it's on the virtual table. That's not really, you can't
Yeah.
just create a column on it. It's recommending you do a new table and then link them.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Second one, relationships, and this is the part where if there's any relationship between the ADX table to other custom table or even out-of-box contact or account table, the
Mm-hmm.
relationship would work a bit differently. This is something we will have an example for. In a nutshell, the relationship is not against the
Mm-hmm.
ADX table or MSPP table itself.
Mm-hmm.
And if there are table references in the liquid and also in ADX, the prefix would be different. And also, if there's relationship, the fetch XML may not work the same. And this is also another sample we will work through, which I
Mm-hmm.
think it's quite common. So we will work on this one. And also, if there's a custom workflow plugin, or we will give a sample for Power Automate, basically any
Mm-hmm.
backend logic that you reference ADX tables. The first sample we want to work on is on fetch XML. So if I show a fetch XML just in um, I'm using FetchXmlBuilder,
Mm-hmm.
which um, 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 it's basically a querying language that you can we can put with the your liquid to
Mm-hmm.
do a server-side querying. Um, and here I'm showing an example which is similar to the sample provided from Microsoft website. This is a bit more complex. It's a joining where, let's say, a portal user has logged in with a user. And let's say this portal user is a contact. So this part is a user ID, which is a portal user ID, which we can get easily from
Mm-hmm.
liquid object. And this is fetching all the web roles linked to that particular
Mm-hmm.
logged in user. Basically, this is what the query is doing. And the, this is for this one on the standard data model, we will query against web role,
Mm-hmm.
and from the web role we have a relationship, and it's actually a many-to-many relationship linked to contact, and that contact ID is the logged in user ID. And if we execute this, it will give us a record
Mm-hmm.
of a result of the for this one, it's a real contact. And
Mm-hmm.
if we want to convert this into standard enhanced data model, first thing let's just duplicate this. I would duplicate this and let's say under web role, if we just go ahead and query the other web role.
Yeah, it's interesting. I can see that. There's a different one. No, no, no. It's
By the way, if you don't have this ticked on, it would be very helpful if you work with enhanced data model because
there's a
you have
repeating
a
tables.
yeah, you have a new set of tables coming in which is the same name. So if we come to the web role and we pick MSPP web role, this definitely okay.
If you just change ADX to MSPP, will it work?
Um, it will not be if we just do this.
Yeah.
It's not ADX name, which
Yeah.
is a if we just try
Yeah.
MSPP name
Yeah.
without
Yeah.
this comes to the differences between virtual tables and standard
Mm-hmm.
tables. If we just take away that filter, because we know this filter definitely won't work,
Mm-hmm.
this query actually it would work.
Mm-hmm.
So under
Oh yeah.
even
Yeah.
even though if
Mm-hmm.
it's even though it's a virtual
Mm-hmm.
table, FetchXML works to some extent. Um,
So
however,
this is a problem with just with relationship, right? Then you
yeah.
want to retrieve something which is linked to.
Yeah, but I think very unlikely you would retrieve a list of
Mhm.
configuration table without any relationships. So if
Yeah.
we just want to do any linked entity here, you will see that there is not much options that you can pick, and
Mm-hmm.
you don't see the actual relationship between contact and this
Yeah.
table
Yeah.
here. So this is where we need to go to
A different table.
a different table, which is that
The
side
table to
the
the
table,
table. The table.
the table. Yes. Let's go to side component, which is
Yeah,
with
you found
schema
it.
name. And under this table, it's not MSPP name anymore. So it's actually name.
Yeah, you can see it.
So if we do a query on this, it
No, it
gives
shifts
me
everything.
it will give you everything. Oh, I need to
Oh,
go do OK on this. It gives you
oh yeah.
everything because I'm
Mm-hmm.
selecting that.
Should you probably filter by type or something?
Yeah, you can add a
She's trying to be as smart as. Yeah.
right. Yes, we can add a filter on the component type here. So if we add some filters here, component type,
Mm-hmm.
which is an option set, and
Yeah, when a web roll.
we want to do web role, and
Mm-hmm.
if we run this, it
Yeah,
gives
it's
a
the
list
same
of
result. Yeah.
it's the same
Mm-hmm.
result now. Now let's going and building that relationship, and
Mm-hmm.
we know that for any relationship against the virtual entity, against those virtual tables, we need to build the relationship against this table.
It's actually very useful how you set it up to illustrate the difference because it's very how do you say, it's very useful, like
Yeah.
very visual.
Oh, thank you for that. To me, your table could have
Mm-hmm.
everyone would have different logics, and
Yeah.
if we understand what that fundamental difference, then every
Mm-hmm.
problem is actually the same problem.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that? So if I want to look for the contact, this window is a bit small. I think it's this one. One of them is contact.
Yeah.
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 And then here we can come in
You will specify which
and we can
contact, and
specify that.
that's a good, probably you need to copy from there, or you just can select from.
Yeah, I can select the contact.
You need the.
Let's use a. Oh, I
But
should
you
not
can use
put
the
that.
same.
I
You
can use
should
the
use the
same.
same, but you already cleaned up the
It.
query. Ah, you have it.
I will copy from this one.
Yeah.
So before this, I purposely configured the relationship differently. One of them is a user one, the other one is an admin web role, just to have that difference. So if I run this, I will see that this is showing me C1
Admin.
admin. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and I won't show the actual form, but basically on the form, if we look at the web roles for a standard model, it's actually a different relationship behind the scene.
I think it's a brilliant way to illustrate. I think that every developer knows how to work with these tools, and for me, it's probably the cleanest way to how do you say, to explain the difference. So thank you very much for this. I think it's super useful.
Thank you. Thanks so much. So that's on the fetch XML
Mm-hmm.
itself. Fetch XML itself is for querying, for reading, right? In real life, we have not just reading. We could have I'm going to use the same relationship example in just not to re-explain on everything.
Mhm.
On the Let me share the window. Let's close this one now. Let's go to the second example.
Mhm.
Custom workflow or plugging on ADX tables. So for this one, um, it says if there's any logical name against web. For me, I actually can't imagine this the sample given here on web page creates there's something triggered. I don't know in in business world why is there a like I and to me I don't see any
There can be the reason maybe for the analytical purposes or something. Then if you,
analytical purposes.
I
Yeah,
don't know, you just count pages, so you have to do something on each page creation. So
on
yeah, I
each
don't
page
know, maybe
creation.
like log maybe
Yes.
if you're logging something. But yeah,
Mhm.
workflow is a weird way to do so. But anyways, there could be some reasons for that. But just like yeah, okay.
So here, if we let's say we have a previously had a workflow on page create, now the entity on page create needs to be on the site
Mhm.
component create, because that's the physical table that will trigger the workflow. And if I can if I can give you an example,
This is a flow.
mhm. Okay. Okay, that's the first sample on a FetchXML. FetchXML, mostly it's going to be used on a web page through Liquid or through
Mhm.
JavaScript for querying. From the server side, sometimes we do have the backend logics, automations, things like that.
All the
Um,
time.
Yes, here Microsoft gives the example for the custom workflow plugin. So basically, these are things on the server side where when certain things happening, we want to trigger something, and those tables, the logic used to be built on against the ADX tables. Now the ADX tables are replaced with MSPP tables. However, if you want to build any logics, we want to make sure that those entities are against that magical table side component. If I can give you an example that's in let's say for your portal, you have your portal user is contact,
Mhm.
and when there's certain business logic is triggered, we want to automatically give user a web
Mhm.
role or take away their web role, which happens in real life. And we want this to be an automated process. And what's happening behind the scene is actually we want to relate the
Mhm.
contact with a web role or take away that relationship. And in Dataverse, before this, we would do a logic like this with the Dataverse
Mhm.
action
Mhm.
in Power Automate. We basically relate let me move this back up a bit. We basically relate a table web
Mhm.
role with contact.
Mhm.
And it's just the syntax that when we do relate action in Power Automate, we need to relate with OData ID, which is fine. Um, the key here is this relationship. It's under contact
Yeah. Yeah.
ADX web role. And when we want to, when the site is moved to enhanced data model, that physical relationship is not against MSPP web role to
Oh,
contact anymore.
show what it is. Show us, Abby.
What do you think it is?
I don't know. Side components. Look at
Yes.
that.
So
Ooh.
what we need to do, we need to find the site component. It would have the same ID. Um, Here, the table name needs to be that site component, and this relationship would be the site component against web role through contact.
So the side component ID will be a web role in this case, right? So
Yes, that's a great question. We can have a look at the
no, it's okay. Just what's in your manual trigger you have
uh,
both
it's
and
just
yeah
a
the corner.
fake
Yeah, yeah.
one. We
It's
just have a
okay.
contact ID, a web role ID, and a site component for web role ID,
Mm-hmm.
which will be the same ID,
This yeah.
even though they are two different records. I think it's
Mm-hmm.
just being made the same.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and
I think in the context of what we've already learned, it makes perfect sense, right? So
Yeah,
it's very similar. Then after the fetch XML, I think everyone understands what's happening, and the
yes,
way we link it is just different. Just finding this side component
yep, yep.
ID. Yeah.
Yeah, the most of the customization fix from that 5 types. If we understand the key difference here, it's really we will after swapping from ADX tables to MSPP tables,
Hmm.
the fix we need to do is against site component table with the schema name Power Page component table rather than the corresponding
Hmm.
tables with prefix MSPP. If that's the one takeaway, it's if that's the takeaway, that's the if
Is
we
the
have to fix.
actual, yeah, if you do have customized things, I think the moment you understand how it works with the new model,
Mm,
you shouldn't be too
yes,
scared. You will
yes,
be able to fix it all eventually. And yeah, it
yes.
also depends on numbers of flows and plugins to modify. But this is the essence. So I think with the Abyss explanation, it's much easier to understand and to fix and
Yes.
what needs to be fixed. Yeah.
Yep. Um, yeah, to me, that's the one thing makes me understand
Hmm.
what we need to do when we come to different issues.
Yeah.
And I hope this is helpful. And before we wrap up, can we have a quick summary of that 2 issues?
Yes,
Just for
please. That would
people
be
who
nice.
didn't have time to watch the whole thing.
I still think it would be useful for people to watch the whole thing if they really need to upgrade and they want and plan to upgrade in near future. I would recommend definitely recommend to watch all the videos of this series because that's all super useful. And we really wish we had these videos for ourselves. Then we went through the upgrade, but now this is Abby's gift to everyone, and you
Thank you
have to be
so much.
grateful. Okay, where's my summary slide?
Okay.
Hey.
Before we wrap up, this is basically the summary of the 2 issues, 2 samples that we went through. If you have ADX table reference in FetchXML, you want to make sure the table reference is against this table called Power Page Component, especially if you have any relationships.
Mm-hmm.
And
Okay.
and if you need to, if you have any backend logic automations against ADX tables, either as a trigger or you work with the relationship, you want to make sure you swap them not to the corresponding MSPP tables, but to the site component
Mm-hmm.
behind it.
Yep.
Yes, that's everything.
Thank
I hope these samples make sense, and thank you so
Thank you
much.
very much for this, Abby. It's a huge work, and thank you very much for sharing this with community. And I really hope these videos are gonna help you guys to go through the upgrade and successfully upgrade your Power Pages websites to a new enhanced data model. Thank you very much for watching
Thank you.
us.
Thank you. Thanks for watching, and hope this video is helpful to you. Let us comment and let us know what's your plan, how it goes. Thanks for watching.
Do not forget to subscribe.
Yes, subscribe as well. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks.
Stop sharing.
Stop recording.
Stop recording. Okay.